Hello everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. And if you saw what we did yesterday, I made this cute little card using the garden greenhouse, and I made these little flowers. So I promised that I would bring a video today showing you how to do this. They're not hard to make. You are going to need a few things to do that with. You're going to need either a punch that is a flower, or you're going to need a die that is a small flower. Now you can go through your dies. Everybody's got lots of florals, so anything that will make a flower about, I would say, maybe an inch big, that's about what you're going to need. So we're also going to need the Shimmery White Embossing Paste, and this is a Stampin' Up product. This is also their Flowers and Leaves punch. And I have the palette knives, and we're going to use that smallest one, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. These come in a set, and they're in the annual catalog, so if you have not looked at these, you might want to take a peek, because these are great. They're great for doing the shimmer on using your mask or your stencils. So, and there's a knife here for everything. So we're going to use this little one today, since we're going to be dealing with some little things. I'm also going to bring in my silicone craft sheet. That's going to help keep me from making a mess all over everything. So we got our paste and our knife. We have our punch and our silicone craft sheet. I have a few pieces of scrap white cardstock, and you don't want anything real thick. I'm using the basic white in just the regular, not the thick, because you want something that is, you know, very pliable. So what we're going to do is we're just going to punch out a bunch of these flowers. So I'm just going to punch everything. I've got some leaves that will punch out with this as well. But basically what I want is some of these flowers. And I'm going to show you, I'm also going to show you the flowers I used in, let's see if I can get that right about there. We're going to clean up my mess before we get started. I don't think we're going to need the leaves, but you know, we can always hang on to them. I also have, I die cut these with a die that I've had for ages. I don't even remember the company or anything about this, but these are the ones I made with the ones that y'all saw me do on the greenhouse. I'm going to punch another one here. And let's see if we can get that little one right there. Now I'm getting lots of little scraps of paper, but that's okay. We can make a mess. I'm going to lay these flowers, the ones that I'm planning on using, up here, and I'm going to show you, you know, both the ones I punched out using the punch and the ones that I used with the die, because I just want to give you a general overview of how to make these beautiful flowers. Oh, the one other thing you're going to need is a stamp block and a polished pink and a gorgeous grape ink pad. Almost forgot about my colors. Alright, I'm going to move that out of the way. I think we got enough of items here that we can actually do this. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to take one of my little microfiber cloths. You can use a dish towel, paper towel, whatever you have that you use in your craft room, and I'm going to lay these over here, something like that. And I just want to spritz these with a little bit of water to basically make them pliable. Please excuse me, I am not sick. It is spring, and I suffer with my allergies so bad in the spring. So I constantly have that little tickle in my throat. It drives me crazy, but it is what it is. And there I go sneezing. Alright, there's my 2 stamp blocks. We're going to need those because we're going to ink those up and we're going to watercolor. But before I go any further, I want to go ahead and spritz these, and I'm just using a regular spray bottle. And they don't have to be soaking wet, you just want them to be damp. and that looks like that did really well. And while they're wet, we are going to use our, on my Take Your Pick tool, when you buy this, you get your putty end, and then you get two ends. The one that I use most of the time is the spatula and the pick, but you also get these two stylists, and I'm going to use that larger one because we're going to make some little flowers here. I'm going to use my Pierce mat, and I am just going to go around in the middle of that, and you can see by it being a little bit wet, it's more apt to form into a flower. So there's one. Let's do this one. And all I'm doing is just poking into the middle of it. That's all you need to do. And you want to work kind of fast because, I mean, you can always come back and respray them. You can also, if you want to, you can take them and crinkle them up. Just, you know, just bend them, fold them up like that, and then just unfold them. It gives them a little character, you know, because real flowers don't always look perfect. They draw to the sun. Sometimes a leaf will push a petal in a wrong direction. It's just, you know, part of nature. There's very few of us that are perfect, that's for sure. I'm sure that there's many people that think they look perfect, but in reality, none of us are perfect. And there we go. Some more of these, and I'm just gonna push down just to get those petals to turn up a little bit. You can come up into your petal and press it a little bit. That helps it to form into that little flower shape. And this one, you just really want it to look like a little turned up flower when you're done. So that works, and then we're going to do this. And there we go. I am going to probably put two videos up today, this one and another one later this afternoon. Be on the lookout for it because I'm going to go through our catalog and show you a lot of our items that are on clearance, because these are items that are retiring, and if these are some items that you have had your eye on, you really want to grab them now. I'm going to go ahead and open this paste, and I'm just going to take a little bit off of that lid or that little paper, and it doesn't take a lot, so you want to go easy. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread some of this beautiful, yeah, and I'm spreading them back out, but that's okay. Then we can push them back together like that and just sit them over. You're going to get messy because this is a messy job, but you know what? It's so much fun to watch your flowers come together, take a shape, and become so pretty, and something that you made from hand that you can use on your cards, your projects, whatever that you are doing, whether you're doing journals or cards or boxes or, you know, whatever that you might be making. These make beautiful little embellishments for it, and you want to do it front and back. The reason for that is you want that to be on the inside of your flower as well as your outside petals. So I'm just going to scrunch that up. They're going to lay back down in a little bit. So I'm just going to rub that all over, flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these done, and then we'll meet right back up because it's basically going to be the same thing over and over, just rubbing the glitter. And you can see the glitter on my fingers already. Once I finish this, I'll take this to the sink. This will wash up really good with just some warm soapy water, and it washes off your hands as well. It's just really a great shimmer paste. So we'll meet back up in just a moment. Alright, we're back, and I got my mat cleaned up, and I got my little putty knife all clean, and my fingers. So we are ready now to move on to our stamp blocks. And this is going to be a very simple thing to do. We're going to need to use one of our water brushes, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to get my little cloth over here again. Make sure that my water's flowing. I'll make sure that that is stained, but it's not, it doesn't bring out any of the color. You can see it doesn't change my finger green, because these brushes are made out of a really good material that are easily, they clean very easily. They do stain, just like our stamps sometimes stain, but they are very nice brushes, and they work so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up our pink, and all I want to do, you know, I don't even think I need one this big. I'm going to get the smaller one. I'm just going to take my little bitty block, and I'm just going to put it into the ink like that. And let's go ahead and close that pad. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the Gorgeous Grape. So polished pink and Gorgeous Grape. And that's if you want to make them this color. Remember, you can make your flowers whatever color you like. You could do blue, you could do yellow, you know, you can make them however you like them to be. Now I'm going to lay this here to kind of to protect my surface. And I'm going to put these up here. I'm going to bring my watercolor, and I'm going to start off with the pink, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water into that ink and stir it around. And that's going to give us some beautiful color, so we can come in. Let me zoom y'all in just a little bit more so you can see what's happening. So here's my little ink block, and you can see that color is on there pretty good. So we're just going to come in here, and you want to do the inside and the out of your petals. And you can be messy with this. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just get some color into your petals, just like that. In and out. Now because you're putting it on top of that glitter, it's going to be a little bit lighter. It's going to look a little bit different than it would if you were just coloring without that paste. But that's all right. We're going to work that in there around the back. And these can be so much fun to make because it's just a relaxing technique. You don't have to stress over it. You just sit and make some pretty flowers. Now I'm going to clean my brush. And then I'm going to come over to my grape, and I want to just pick up a little bit of that color. And I want to come in and just do a little bit around the edges. And I'm going to turn it over. And I want a little bit more of that grape on the back. A little bit right there. And there. And there. Now I'm going to scrunch that up, and I'm going to sit it over here to dry, and then I'm going to move on to my next one. Now this one I think I'm going to go in with more of the grape. And like I said, you can make these just any way that you like. They don't have to be a certain way. Just put some color down on them. And then turn it. This one I'm going to do more of the grape and just really work that color in. The good thing about, don't worry about getting ink on your fingers. This is dye ink, and it will wash off, and you can actually usually clean it off with just some alcohol. Now I'm going to I'll do something a little bit different here. I'm going to clean that off. I need a little bit more of the pink. So I am going to, and if you don't want to use the ink pad, you could use the, you can use the ink refiller and get the same effect. But I'm going to drop a couple of drops of water in that, and then I'm going to put some of that pink. Just like that, and then we're going to scrunch that one up and just sit it over here. And you're just going to continue to do your flowers like this until you get them all colored like you want them. And it's, like I said, I just find this to be so much fun. And this is a good thing to do when you go through one of those little creative slumps where you just can't think of what to do. You can always make some flowers, and sometimes this will kind of feed your creativity, and then when you're done you can very easily take this in to making a card or some other project, a box. These would be beautiful to decorate the top of a little gift box. I'm going to use a little bit more of that grape. Just streak some color in there like that. And scrunch that one up the same way and just let it dry. Let's do one of these smaller ones. And I think I'm going to do grape. And this one I'm just going to try some little streaking. You can do all different patterns, or you can do them solid. You can let them be variegated a little bit. It's totally up to you how you want to color your flowers. So I'm going to come back and just put some more streaks of that pink over top of the purple or the gorgeous grape. Like that. I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Just do a little streaking. And grab a little bit of the pink. Just dabbing it around here and there. And there's one. And you can see, look at the difference between one that I did solid and one that I did that's a little more variegated. Let me bring those up in my hand. There we go. That one compared to this one. So after you get these made, and I'm not going to do all of them here on camera because it's pretty repetitious, and like I said, you can do different colors. The blocks clean off really good, and I'm just cleaning them over here in this water. You can use your Simply Chamois to clean them off on, or you can take a little alcohol wipe and wipe them down. I am going to grab a little bit of, let's see if I can find one of my inkers, because I would love to put a dab of Daffodil Delight. And of course, the chances of me pulling Daffodil Delight out of my bin is going to be slim to none. But you know what? I'm going to keep trying and hopefully I'll get lucky. This looks like Daffodil Delight. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to shake it up. We're going to do a little bit more of mixed media. I'm going to shake that up and I'm going to bring over my silicone craft sheet, and I'm going to take, now if you have stickles, you can do the same thing with a bottle of stickles, but I'm going to show you using just Stampin' Up! Products, how we can do this. We are going to take our putty knife, and I'm going to take out and just put on here a little gob. Is that a word? A gob? I think it is. I'm just going to throw a little bit of that paste right there, and then I'm going to come in with my Daffodil Delight. Two drops, and I'm going to mix this up and see what color it gives me. Okay, that looks really good. I might put a little bit more paste in it because I don't think I want it quite that gold. I want it, I don't know, that might be pretty. Oh, why not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab an alcohol wipe, and I have one right here because my fingers are a mess, but that's okay. I will go and wash my hands with some good soap and water after I'm done. I got a little bit more paste right there. Let's see if we can get that a little bit more paste in there. There we go. If you're doing this and you want this to be a little bit lighter, what I would suggest is have just a little, 1 drop of ink rather than 2. So next time I do this, I'll be a little more cautious. I'm going to take my spatula tool and just grab a little bit more of that paste. And I'm going to put that in there, and just to lighten that up a little bit. Oh yeah, that's much better. Now I'm going to clean that off. And I'm going to grab a paintbrush. And I want it to be something I don't care about, you know, getting messed up. So I'm just going to grab one of my, you want something kind of stiff. I think this one will work. And I am going to just roll that around onto my brush. And then I'm going to come in with this flower, and I'm going to put a nice amount of paste right there in the center for the center of my flower. I'm going to set that over to dry. I'm going to bring one of my little ones over, and I'm going to do the same thing. I just want to dab that in there. Now if you want it to be a little bit more, you know, where you have more of like a gob, let me close this up. You always want to make sure you close your paste up so it doesn't dry out, as well as your ink. So if you wanted it to be a little bit more gobby, use your little spatula tool, and that will dry with that little peak sticking up. Let's come in and do one more. Now this one I didn't color. I'm leaving it white with just that yellow in it. And let's try something else with the paste, because let your imagination just run wild. So what if we decided to paint one of these yellow? You know, there's no rhyme or reason. You can make your flowers whatever you want them to be. And I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to come down the sides just like that. And you you can come back a little bit later and make a different color to go inside there. But this can be so much fun, and it can be so relaxing, and you can just basically let your creativity run wild. So I'm hoping that by showing you how I made my beautiful little flowers, that you would be interested in doing something like this. You can pick this paste up in my online store along with the ink refillers, and you can make your glitter any color that you would like for it to be. It is totally up to you what color you want your flower, what color you want your centers. It is all up to you. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the outside of this one, but I don't want it to be stark. I want some white left on it. Just like that. We'll set him over there. And I think I'm going to do one more of these. I really like the way this looked, just putting the little gob in the middle. And you could also come out and just tip those flowers. This would be beautiful to do with some dogwood leaves. So if you have a stamp set or a die set that will cut you some dogwood leaves and just tip the edges of them. This little flower reminds me of a dogwood blossom. Love those. Aren't they gorgeous? Let me move this out of my way. And I'm going to bring these back over so you can see just how pretty they turned out. Let me grab another alcohol wipe. And I'm going to wipe my brush off because I'm going to take this to the sink and really clean it good. But just for right now, I want to do this just to get some of that glitter out of it. A little bit more of that ink off of my fingers and my fingernails. You know you're having fun if you're making a mess, right? And I want you to look how pretty these different little flowers turned out. And like I said, if you have stickles, and I know a lot of us have stickles, this is not a Stampin' Up product. Stampin' Up doesn't endorse this, but I'm going to just show you that if you've got stickles, you can come in. It's not quite as messy because, well, shake that down to the bottom. And you can, I want to sit it on a surface so you can see what I'm doing. And there you go. And that's also very glittery and very pretty. Let's see if we can do one right here. And then we got a couple of these plain white ones we can put a little yellow center in. Just like that. So that's just another way that you can do the centers of your flowers. And this one would be so pretty with a purple center. So I may do that in just a little bit. But for right now, I think we have done a beautiful job on our flowers. And then you can scrunch those together and make these beautiful flowers for your card. Very simple. If you want them to be a little bit darker, I would either grab an ink daub or an ink refiller like this, or I would use a larger stamp block where you can get more ink on it. I used a larger stamp block, and that does give you more ink, which gives you more color. So just however you would like to do it, but make it yours, make it beautiful. And thank you so much for tuning in to watch me make these gorgeous flowers. And until we craft again, remember what I always say: let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.